I am just getting ready to start book number 23. Usually in between book releases, I take a little break from writing so that I can catch up on a lot of admin work and also just kind of let my brain work on the next story that I'll be writing in the background. But it's been close to 2 months since I have really written anything, so I really need to put all the admin stuff on the back burner and get going on the writing. Sorry for all the smacking sounds. My dog is enjoying her treat. But I also want to be better this time around and not just let all the admin tasks just fall by the wayside for me to pick up again in 6 months when I'm done with my book. Well, hopefully done. You never know how long it's going to take. So I decided I need to get back to some of the good habits that I had instead of letting all those tasks become invisible or be on like this sticky note that I move from page to page throughout my bullet journal every day. I am going to start using my KanBan board again, which is over here collecting dust on my wall filled with photos of me and my family and other just random notes that have been there for a couple of years. That's just how life goes when you are an indie author and you have 4 kids and life is just busy. Anyway, so I'm using some of the methods that I learned from Sarah Cannon in her HB90 course, which I recommend. It's awesome. She does it every quarter or so. But in that method, there is like a thing that I think Stephen R. Covey kind of came up with too. That's where you kind of like brain dump all the things you're supposed to do into a list of like things I need to do, things I should do, and then things I want to do for my career instead of just having, and so you can kind of put them in their level of importance and urgency. And then you go through each of those lists, mark which ones are urgent and important, things that are urgent, not important, important but not urgent, and then urgent and important. I hope I said all those things right. And of course, the urgent and important are your higher priority. And then sometimes you can mark off things like, yeah, I'm probably never going to actually get to that. So here I have my things I need to do, things I should do, and things I want to do lists. And since I do this, like probably every 6 months, I actually do this part in this notebook and narrow it down. I don't have like, my list isn't quite as long as it used to be because I just kind of know in my head, like, yeah, I'm never going to get to those things. So they're just off my list for forever. But then I have other things that when I was looking through them, this put my books on Ingram Spark. I've been working on that for like 4 years. And so it's always on that list. But the amount of books that I've gotten up there it's been getting better. So yeah. Anyway, then I kind of organized my list by choosing a different color for each of these different areas. So important and urgent is pink. Urgent and not important is going to be purple. Important and not urgent is going to be blue. And then not urgent and not important is going to be orange. And that is kind of like the no-no land that you do not want things to end up in, because that just means you probably don't need to have them on your list at all. But sometimes those fun, sparkly ideas are interesting to think about, and so you do have the different colors. But as you'll see, going through most of my tasks, because I have done this so many times, do end up being the pink and the blue, meaning they are important. But as I was doing this, I was feeling a little peer pressure to add more colors besides the pink and blue. So I did add a couple orange highlights, but after thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, those are probably blue too, because they are important, just not necessarily urgent. But I know that as I go through the next several months, my main focus is going to be on those pink ones because those are the most important and urgent for my author business. And the blue ones, I will definitely be putting on my KanBan board because they are important. And I do want to check them off the list, but it's maybe going to be like a once a week. I will have a day where I focus on getting those done, and then I'll get as much as done as I can on that day, and then on the other days I will just be focusing back on the pink again, which will mostly be writing because I am an author and that is my main job and what I mainly want to be doing in my job. The next thing is to take these things and kind of put them into different tasks for my KanBan board, and so I have listed out some of the things. It's not a full complete list yet, but this is the things that I will need to do to make those different goals happen. And a lot of these will do with like publishing my book. I need to outline it, I need to write, I need to figure out the cover, set up the pre-order, tagline, blurb, just all those different things. And then I turn each of those into like a task block. So I take different sticky notes and I kind of color coordinate them based on like which area they go on. So like all of the things that focus on my writing are going to be pink, and then more of my admin tasks are going to be on these purple sticky notes. And so I am making a little sticky note for like each little step. So I have a sticky note for brainstorming, another for outlining, another for like every 5,000 words that I write. And then also, as you can see, these other purple ones that I already made, they are each for like my tasks for my goal to add all my books to Ingram Spark. And so I have one for each of the books. Anyway, so I write out a bunch of those and then I will kind of line them up in they're like sections and group them together so that I can put them into my KanBan board in some sort of an order that makes sense to my brain at least. Anyway, so now I have everything set up on my KanBan board behind me, and the goal is to move them down through each of the seconds. So these are all like my to-do. And then when I'm doing something, I will move it down to this level. And then once it's done, I'll move it down to the bottom level. So yeah, I'm starting a new book. So I need to brainstorm what's going on. And then once I have that done, it will move down to there. And then I'll just continue to work through as many of the things as I can each week. So here's to writing my book and hopefully keeping up with everything I need to do while I'm doing that. That'd be amazing.